Hi, Jessica Hensley here with eXp Realty. I'm with the Heritage Homes team brokered by eXp Realty. Kind of says there on my logo. And today I wanted to talk about why you should list with a realtor and in some cases why you shouldn't. So I'm going to actually give you 8 reasons that you need to consider before listing your home. And why you might want to consider listing with a realtor, and one reason why you might want to list by owner. So the first reason would be your realtors in the local area, they may not even know that your home is for sale if you list it as a for sale by owner. Because typically when we're doing a search for our buyers, we're looking on the MLS. And if there's just absolutely nothing on the MLS, then we might broaden our search to a for sale by owner. But majority of the time, you're going to be cutting out, probably 90% of the buyers out there that are actually working with an agent. If you think about it, if you've ever relocated to another part of the country, maybe for a job, what is the first thing you do? If you're not from that community, what are you going to do? Well, probably you're going to be calling a realtor to help you start a search, to give you advice on where to look, what type of home, what the prices are going for, because you're not from that community. And I will tell you, a lot of buyers right now in Southeast Kansas are coming from out of state. So if you list for sale by owner, you're cutting out a good portion of buyers that are looking in our area because the realtors probably don't even know that your home is for sale. The second reason that you might want to consider listing with an agent versus going for sell by owner is because of the emotion that's involved anytime you are buying or selling a home. So it's a highly stressful, highly emotional time in most people's life. Most people will move, maybe I would say on the high end, probably every 5 years, but some people they're just going to buy once or twice in their lifetime. So a lot of times there's a lot of sentimental emotions that's tied up, or maybe there's other circumstances going on that are, maybe like a divorce or a death in the family, or maybe it's a good thing and they're growing their family and they're needing to get a bigger home. But whatever reason, a lot of times emotions will get the best of you. And if you have a realtor that's working in your corner as your seller's agent, they will be able to be that buffer to help you think level headed. I will say a lot of times I find sellers are like, I don't want to negotiate, or maybe they get offended whenever an offer is brought. But when we're able to talk through it, and I'm able to negotiate with the buyer, we can bring the buyer up. We can all meet at a price that everyone is happy. Well, if the seller was working with that buyer by themselves, who knows what would have been said and could have killed the deal without that third party person to buffer the conversation. And that can go the other way as well. Sometimes your sellers are just like, I just want to get it sold, I don't care. And sometimes they're leaving money on the table because they are getting emotional about it and they just don't want to mess with it anymore. And so that can be a hindrance too. The third reason that you may want to consider listing with a realtor versus going for sell by owner is real estate is a full-time job. As you can see, it's starting to get dark at my office. I'm here, it's 5 o'clock, and I'm still working for my clients. So some things that will go into selling your home that you really should consider: people are going to be calling throughout the day. Are you really going to be available to answer phone calls, to excuse yourself from work or excuse yourself from that meeting to go rush to answer the call? And then when the call comes in, do you have the skills and sort of experience to weed out people that are maybe not serious, that are wasting your time, tire kickers? Trust me, there's a lot of tire kickers out there, and that's something that we have developed a sort of sixth sense about, so we know who's serious and who isn't, all while preserving relationships and being respectful. So that's something you need to think about. Are you willing to answer your phone at all hours? Then If you are willing to answer your phone, are you willing to show your home after you've worked a long day? You want to go home and relax. Are you willing to set up showings in your home in the evenings? And once again, screening those buyers, especially with COVID right now. Do you have protocols in place to make sure that they haven't been exposed to COVID, and maybe there's some we're going to talk about in a minute, some liability that you need to consider. So, real estate is a full-time job, not just with screening and with showing your home, but also with marketing. Are you going to work your full-time job during the day and then go home at night and market your property to ensure a quick sale? So, those are some things you need to think about. The fourth reason that you need to think about listing with a realtor versus listing with a for sale by owner, listing on your own, I should say. An agent has access to a large network. So not only can we list it on Zillow, Realtor.com, Craigslist, Facebook, the MLS, but we also, those of us that have been doing this for a while, we have a database. I know my database, I have over 3,000 names in my database. So with the click of a button, I can send out my listings to over 3,000 people to spread the word about my properties for sale quickly. So you are really cutting yourself short by not having access to that large network. Another reason, the fifth reason you might want to consider listing with a realtor is weeding out unqualified buyers. We kind of touched on this already, but when they're calling and asking about, well, would you do a rent to own? That's going to be a lot of the calls you get as a for sale by owner. What are you going to say to that? And, I would say most for sale by owners are just going to say no. But, as a realtor, I have learned that if they're asking for if you'll do an owner finance, sometimes that means they just don't know where to start. And they still want to, they could qualify for a loan, but they just don't know how to do it. So we know how to walk them through the process of being qualified and, making sure that they are able to purchase, so we can work with and nurture those buyers. Whereas you might have lost that sale as a for sale by owner, but the realtor can, because of experience, can nurture the buyer and possibly bring you a buyer just from that one thing alone. Number 6, negotiations. So I know personally, I've sold hundreds of homes. I've been in the market since 2003. I've been in this area, Southeast Kansas, since 2005. And I've been privileged and blessed to work with a ton of home sellers and buyers in our area. And with that has came some experience and negotiation skills. So that is something that I bring to the table as a listing agent for my clients. I want to help you get the highest and best property or price for your property. And if you're working with me as a buyer's agent, then the opposite is true. I'm going to try to get you the lowest price as a buyer's agent. So our negotiation skills really come into play. You may have negotiation skills with sales, but home sales are totally different. And there are little nuances about it that really you're only going to pick up along the way with experience. I've had for sale by owners tell me, oh, I've sold lots of homes. And when they're saying lots, they're referring to maybe 5 homes in their lifetime, something along those lines. And last I checked, I'm in the 700 mark for homes sold in my career. So as you can imagine, yes, 5 is quite a few for one person that's an owner to have sold. But imagine the experience and wealth of knowledge that can come with having sold so many homes. So that's what we bring to the table as a realtor. Number 7, this is kind of a really good one, an important one. As a for sale by owner, you are probably going to ignore the flaws in your home. So having a realtor on your side to be objective, to be that voice of reason, to walk through your home and to say, hey, you probably need to change this or change that without the emotions getting involved, that is going to help you ensure a quicker sell, because realtors are working with buyers and they know what buyers are looking for. And obviously, we don't get paid as a realtor unless we sell your home. So we're motivated to make sure that we're doing everything we can to help you sell the home in a timely manner. And lastly, liability. This is something that a lot of people don't think about, but there is a lot of liability that goes into selling a home. Under the Kansas state law, you are required to disclose any adverse material defect or fact about your property. And that's something we take care of with the property disclosure. We ask you specific questions to jog your memory and to help you disclose anything that you know about the property that the buyer might need to know. If you don't disclose that, the buyer could come back on you and claim that you knew something and you withheld that information, and that could leave you liable. Also, explaining the contract. If that's not something you do for a living, then explaining the nuances of a sales contract to a buyer to make sure they understand their rights is also one of the things that we go over as a realtor. Okay, I promised that I would give you a reason why you shouldn't list with the realtor. And that reason is, if you've listened to this entire video and you've listened to all the reasons that you should, and you're like, yep, I can do that, I'm willing to do that, I have experience there. If you can check all of those boxes off, then you know what? Maybe you should list for sell by owner. But I haven't met very many people that could actually honestly say that they can do all of the things that realtors do and everything that we bring to the table. So if you're interested in selling your home, or you know somebody who is in Southeast Kansas, give our team a call at 620-688-6039 or visit our website at sekhhr.com. I'm Jessica Hensley, and have a great night.